for self. The Ahn Project, how we break it down into domains of life, analogies, and so on and so forth, including the live stream schedule as well as the copyright-free music. You can find that all in the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years, straight up to January 2021 and beyond for more updated versions. So without further ado, let's dive into the second segment. Roughly about 10 to 11 segments per live stream, probably less today. But basically, across 15 minutes won't take up too much of your time. Let's just run through very briefly what they are. And divide up the 10 segments for the first time into roughly about 3-4 different phases, groups. So the first 3 segments are the introduction, this table of contents which you're listening to right now, as well as the third one, which has to do with like disclaimers and things to keep in mind about being real, raw, and how I'm going to conduct the stream. After that, we move on to the kind of the second phase, and those are segments 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those 4 segments focus on digital things, informational assets. We cover a lot of photography, a lot of storytelling, a lot of commentary, including metrics and data. So covers one segment and out. So is of course the first one, of course, the good, the bad, and by an of my life. So it would not serve me any good to shy away from things like personal insecurities or emotional baggage. I will cover things like that. So it's a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of a warning. If your discretion is advised kind of thing from the 90s, right? Okay, second thing I want to mention is also this is a very high utility stream. You can't tell, there's a lot of stuff to get through. It does mean that it's a little bit more, I'm a little more serious, but you don't have to be. So on the comments you can put some jokes, some funny memes or giggles. I don't really know. It doesn't have to be very serious, but the fact for me is that this has to serve benefit, has to be a very purposefully driven stream for me to make use of, and eventually it'll be useful for people watching. And the last thing that I want to mention, of course, by analogy, a time record, and also by analogy, a business. And a third analogy you could use to describe the Ahn Project is also like a game. So game theory, mechanics, applying that over to life. It's just a fun way to look at it. So let's move on. So the directory, you can see here, I'm going to lower the music now at this point. There's about, maybe a collage of at least 20 different screenshots of photography, mass photography. Here, there's a lot more items, of course. It's